Welcome. Today, we are going to tell a story. It is a story about football. But not just any football. It is the biggest football competition in the world. It is called the FIFA World Cup. Every 4 years, countries from all over the world come together. They play football. They fight for one trophy, one golden cup. Billions of people watch this tournament. It stops the world. So, let us begin. Let us go back in time. Let us tell the full story of the FIFA World Cup. Our story begins a long time ago. In the early 1900s, football was growing fast. People in Europe and South America loved the game. Football was played in parks, in streets, in stadiums, but there was no World Cup yet. There was a man named Jules Rimet. He was the president of FIFA. FIFA is the organization that controls football around the world. Jules Rimet had a dream. He wanted all nations to play football together. He wanted one big competition, one tournament to bring the world together. And so, in 1930, his dream came true. The first FIFA World Cup was held. It was held in Uruguay. Uruguay is a small country in South America. 13 teams came to play. Teams from Europe, North America, and South America. The stadiums were full. The people were excited. Football history was beginning. The tournament was beautiful. Many great teams played, but 2 teams were the best. Uruguay and Argentina. These 2 countries are neighbors. They are both in South America. And they were rivals in football. The final match was between Uruguay and Argentina. The stadium was full of people. Everyone was watching. It was a very exciting game. At halftime, Argentina was winning 2-1. But Uruguay did not give up. In the second half, Uruguay scored 3 more goals. The final score was Uruguay 4, Argentina 2. Uruguay won the first World Cup. The people of Uruguay celebrated all night. It was a day they never forgot. Four years later, in 1934, the World Cup came to Europe. It was held in Italy. Italy was a very strong team. They had fast players and a good coach. Italy played very well in the tournament. They won the World Cup in 1934. Then, 4 years later, in 1938, it was Italy again. This time, the tournament was in France. They won again. 2 World Cups in a row. Italy was the best team in the world. But then, something terrible happened. The Second World War began. The whole world was fighting. The World Cup had to stop. For 12 years, there was no tournament. Football was quiet. The world was in pain. After the war, the world slowly recovered, and in 1950, the World Cup came back. It was held in Brazil. Brazil is a country that loves football more than anything. The people of Brazil were so happy. They built a giant stadium. It was called the Maracanazo. It could hold 200,000 people. Brazil had a wonderful team. They played beautiful football. Everyone thought Brazil would win the World Cup. But in the final match, something shocking happened. Brazil played against Uruguay. Brazil needed only a draw to win the trophy. But Uruguay scored a goal. Uruguay won. R2E. The stadium was silent. 200,000 Brazilian fans could not believe it. People cried. This moment is called the Maracanazo. It means the Maracana shock. Even today, Brazil remembers this painful moment. In 1954, the World Cup went to Switzerland. A new team surprised everyone. West Germany. Germany was still rebuilding after the war. Nobody expected them to win. In the final, they played against Hungary. Hungary was the best team in the world at that time. Hungary was winning 2-0 very quickly. But West Germany never gave up. They fought back. They scored 3 goals. West Germany won 3-2. It was called the Miracle of Bern. Then came Ba. A young boy came to the World Cup. His name was Pelé. He was only 17 years old. But he played like a legend. Brazil won the World Cup in 1958. And in 1962, Brazil won again. Brazil was the greatest football nation in the world. In 1966, the World Cup came to England. England is the country where football was invented, so this was a very special tournament for them. The English fans were excited. They wanted their team to win at home. England played very well. They reached the final. In the final, they played against West Germany. It was an incredible match. The score was 2-2 after 90 minutes. They played extra time. England scored twice more. England won 6-2. The English people were so happy. It was the greatest day in English football history, and it is still the only time England has won the World Cup. In 1970, Brazil came back even stronger. The tournament was in Mexico. Brazil had the best team ever assembled, and Pelé was their king. He was fast, clever, and magical with the ball. Brazil played the most beautiful football the world had ever seen. In the final, they beat Italy 4-1. Pelé scored a header. His teammate, Carlos Alberto, scored a famous goal. It is still called one of the greatest goals in World Cup history. Brazil won their 3rd World Cup. And because they won 3 times, they kept the trophy forever. The original trophy, the Jules Rimet trophy, was now Brazil's. Pelé retired as the greatest footballer of all time. In 1978, the World Cup was in Argentina. Argentina won their first World Cup on home soil. The crowd was electric. Paper fell from the sky like snow. It was a beautiful moment. Then came Balu, and a man who would become a legend. His name was Diego Maradona. Maradona was from Argentina. He was small in size, but enormous in talent. In the quarterfinal, Argentina played England. This was more than a football match. Argentina and England had fought a real war just 4 years before. So, the match was very emotional. Maradona scored 2 goals in that match. The first goal was very controversial. He punched the ball into the net with his hand. The referee did not see it. Maradona later said it was scored by the hand of God. His second goal was completely different. He ran from the middle of the pitch. He passed 5 English players. And then he scored. It is called the goal of the century. Argentina went on to win the 1986 World Cup. Maradona was the hero of his nation. In 1990, the World Cup was in Italy. West Germany won the tournament. It was not a beautiful tournament. Many games were defensive and slow. But the final was dramatic. West Germany beat Argentina 1-0. In 1994, the World Cup came to the United States for the first time. It was a big moment for football in America. Brazil and Italy met in the final. After 120 minutes of football, the score was still 0-0. For the first time, a World Cup final was decided by penalty kicks. Penalty kicks are very dramatic. One player kicks the ball against the goalkeeper. One chance to score. Brazil won on penalties. Then, in 1998, the World Cup came to France. France had a wonderful team. Their best player was Zinedine Zidane. He was elegant and powerful. In the final, France played against Brazil. Zidane scored 2 headers. France won. Saint-Touling. The people of France celebrated in the streets all night. In 2002, the World Cup was in Asia for the first time. It was held in 2 countries, Japan and South Korea. It was a historic moment. Brazil came with a powerful team. Their striker Ronaldo was unstoppable. He scored 8 goals in the tournament. Brazil beat Germany 2-0 in the final. Ronaldo scored both goals. Brazil won their 5th World Cup. Then, in 2006, the World Cup was in Germany. Italy won the tournament, but the final is remembered for a sad moment. France's Zidane, one of the greatest players ever, was in his last game. An Italian player said something rude to him. Zidane became angry. He headbutted the Italian player. The referee gave him a red card. Zidane walked off the pitch. His last game was over early. It was a heartbreaking end to a brilliant career. Italy won on penalties. In 2010, the World Cup was in Africa for the first time. It was held in South Africa. The whole world watched with joy. The stadiums were filled with the sound of vuvuzelas. A vuvuzela is a plastic horn. It makes a very loud sound. Spain had an incredible team. Players like Xavi, Iniesta, and Villa. They played a style called Tiki, Taka. Short passes, fast movement. It was wonderful to watch. Spain reached the final against the Netherlands. After 90 minutes, the score was 0-0. Then, in extra time, Andres Iniesta scored. Spain won E-Ling. It was Spain's first ever World Cup. Iniesta removed his shirt. He had a message on his undershirt. It was for his friend who had died earlier that year. The whole world was moved by this beautiful gesture. In 2014, the World Cup returned to Brazil. Brazil was excited and nervous. They remembered E-Ling. They did not want another heartbreak. Brazil reached the semi-final. They played against Germany. What happened next was shocking. Germany scored 5 goals in just 29 minutes. The Brazilian fans could not believe it. People were crying in the stadium. Germany won 2-0. It was the biggest defeat in Brazil's history. The world called it the Maracanazo. Germany went on to win the World Cup. They beat Argentina 1-0 in the final. Mario Götze scored the winning goal. Germany were champions of the world. In 2018, the World Cup was in Russia. France had an amazing young team. Their star player was Kylian Mbappé. He was only 19 years old. But he was incredibly fast and skillful. France played very well. They reached the final against Croatia. Croatia is a small country, but they had a brilliant team. Their captain was Luka Modric. The final was exciting and full of goals. France won 6-0. Mbappé became the second teenager ever to score in a World Cup final. The first was Pelé, back in Uruguay. France were world champions again. In 2022, the World Cup was in Qatar. Qatar is a small country in the Middle East. It was the first World Cup ever held in the Arab world. And it produced the greatest World Cup final in history. Argentina reached the final. Their captain was Lionel Messi. Messi is considered by many people to be the greatest footballer of all time. He had won everything in football, but never the World Cup. This was his last chance. He was 35 years old. Argentina played against France in the final. France had Kylian Mbappé. It was Messi against Mbappé. Old master against young star. Argentina was winning 2-0 with 10 minutes left. Then Mbappé scored 2 goals in 2 minutes. The score was 2-2. In extra time, Messi scored again. Then Mbappé scored again. Penalty kicks decided the final. Argentina's goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, was brilliant. Argentina won. Messi lifted the World Cup. He was finally world champion. He cried. His teammates cried. Millions of people around the world cried. It was the perfect ending to the greatest career in football history. And so, that is the story of the FIFA World Cup. From Uruguay in 1930 to Qatar in 2022. From Jules Rimet's dream to Messi's tears of joy. From 13 teams to 32. From black and white photographs to full-color broadcasts watched by 5 billion people. The World Cup is more than a game. It is a celebration of human spirit. It brings countries together. It creates moments we never forget. The next World Cup will be in 2026. It will be held in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. New heroes will be born. New stories will be written, and the world will stop to watch. Thank you for listening. Keep practicing your English, and we will see you in the next story.